Thank you, Regent Bulla. Let me start by saying that the FY 2011 request from ASU to the board for submission to the governor for consideration in her state budget construction for 2011 is very difficult. It's difficult because it's challenging to plan a budget request, an investment request that would go to the governor and to the legislature when the legislature has so effectively abdicated its constitutional duty. Let me explain. The Constitution of Arizona states that the legislature of Arizona will raise taxes to invest in the universities so that they might deliver an education to the people of Arizona and so that the universities might be improved. The actions of the legislature in this fiscal crisis that we have not only been to make adjustments to our spending in line with the state's budget reductions, but in fact to single out the universities for particular investment reduction. Our spending levels have not been reduced, our investment levels have not been reduced to the level of the present fiscal situation, which is roughly a decline in the economy of a 3-year time frame. Their investment reductions to the institutions have been to reduce our funding on a per student basis by 20 years, to roll back investment by 20 years. So in considering how to move the institution forward in terms of how one might request an investment from through the governor, from the legislature to the universities, what we have done is concentrated on two things in our request. First, enrollment growth. The legislature has not said to us to stop enrolling qualified Arizona graduates from high schools. We're still enrolling them. The university is still growing. The legislature is not fulfilling its responsibility to support those students, and so we still need support, as our sister institutions need, for enrollment growth. Our per student investment level has been reduced by the legislature in the last 18 months to $5,900 per student. I won't walk through where that places us in terms of the resources being provided versus the resources we need, the stress being put on the universities to raise tuition through the board's actions, and so it's a very stressful moment. A part of the fiscal stress of the university is the fact that more people in Arizona want to be educated at higher and higher levels so that they and their families can compete both locally and in the global economy more effectively. Enrollment growth is absolutely essential as a part of our funding to the university so that we can maintain quality. So our request for FY 2011 includes $42 million approximately for enrollment growth. Beyond enrollment growth, we have a serious problem in the fact that we already operate on one of the most cost-efficient bases of any major university in the United States. Our investment per student compared to our peers, the ABOR recognized peers, Ohio State University, UCLA, the University of Connecticut, University of Texas, whatever the school happens to be that we are comparable with, we are already able to effectively operate at a lower level. We don't require as much as they require to operate, so we can operate effectively at a lower level, but we're being diminished even below the threshold of what's necessary to educate. We included in our preliminary request a $30 million request in hopes of being able to make up some of these reductions that we have been experiencing through our critical issues request. But what we are in the process of doing in real time is actually calculating what is the number in terms of dollars per student that we believe is what I would call the mini-max, the minimum amount of the maximum investment. That is, what's the threshold amount that we need from the state for our university to effectively educate early in the 21st century state-of-the-art graduates, and it's $8,500 per student. We're receiving $5,900 per student. If I run that math across 69,000 students, I can tell you that there is a very wide gap. And that very wide gap is what we consider to be our critical issue. The one thing that we have factored out of our calculation is the fact that the regents did agree to take an across-the-board $100 million cut. That is as our part of the reduction of state investment. And so we have factored that out of that amount. And so Those dollars will be a part of our FY 2011 budget request, that is investment request from the state as it is submitted.